President Trump's immigration executive orders could have a long-lasting impact on the state of Texas. Immigration attorney Robert Loughran joins us this morning to help us better understand the issue. Good morning. Good to see you again, sir.
Good morning.
So where do we stand right now with the current situation in terms of the ban on the 7 Muslim countries, and how is it different from where we were?
Well, where we were before was we had the State Department with Foreign Service officers who are commissioned officers, commissioned by Congress, much like military officers, who are focused on issuing visas and being very careful about who they issue visas to. Everyone who comes to the United States is 10 printed, meaning they put their hands on a glass machine and they have their fingerprints taken, and those are run through 23 federal agencies, so they are security checked. What has happened here is the president has come in and issued an order saying, as of Friday afternoon, stop. Stop as to these 7 countries, and don't let anyone from these countries into the United States. And that includes the people who were on planes, who had been carefully vetted, had been issued visas, who had gotten on the planes and were in the air. And those people, many of those people were handcuffed upon arrival and put in detention. Some were put on planes to be sent back, and a few have been admitted into the United States.
And you say these people have been going through a process with the State Department for a decade or more sometimes.
Anyone from those 7 countries, and those are Iran, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen, anyone from those countries who could not come here visa waiver. They couldn't just get on a plane. So they had to go to a U.S. embassy or consulate abroad, be fingerprinted, have background checks run. Only once those background checks were cleared were they issued travel documents to come to the United States. And this order stopped them in mid-flight.
Several of the executive orders that President Trump has signed deal with immigration, one of those being sanctuary cities. That is something that is close to the state of Texas.
Yeah,
what about that?
That's in the news right now, and we're going to see what we're going to see about that over the upcoming years, and I do think it's going to be years, because I would compare that to President Obama closing Guantanamo. He signed an order when he was first inaugurated, and here you have President Trump saying he's going to cut off sanctuary cities. As I understand it, it's an undefined term. What is a sanctuary city? I think some people would say any city that does not fully cooperate with immigration enforcement. Here, for example, in Austin, if ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, comes and gets an individual from jail, the sheriff or the city police are going to hand that person over to ICE. The question here is, do they hold them indefinitely waiting for ICE if ICE doesn't show up?
Do you expect to see more from the Trump administration as we move forward here in terms of immigration?
Well, I think it's going to be an ongoing back and forth. Obviously, Congress is already getting involved. This is dramatic. 3 orders, one about the border, one about detaining people in the United States. The tremendous level of, there'll be a tremendous argument of how big the detention facilities are going to become here in the United States. There's a lot to talk about.
And so much unrest, too. I mean, we saw the disruptions that happened over the weekend.
Well, it's a very controversial issue. You have people's lives here, and it really is changing the status quo. Obviously, that's what the president was elected to do, was to change the status quo. But here it's having a tremendous impact on people's lives.
All right, Robert Loughran, immigration attorney, thank you so much for joining us, as always.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
What's a bigger surprise?